escape from the team called the morning steam. It's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott. Sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
And a pleasant good morning to you from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show for Wednesday, February 12th. Get ready for a great sports betting day with college basketball, NBA 15-game card, and game one of the Four Nations event here starts today with the Canada versus Sweden. First game of the tourney of the Four Nations Cup. Team Canada, they come in loaded on their roster with McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby. They're the favorite to win the Four Nations Cup. Sweden has great goaltending with Linus Olmark. They'll be a formidable team in the tournament as well. There are only four teams after all. You got United States and Finland tomorrow, so Four Nations Cup today. Maybe we'll make a pick here. And we've got four more games in the Champions League today. First leg underway yesterday. Results didn't go quite the way that I was hoping here in the Champions League yesterday, although we did have a couple VIP winners, including Real Madrid and Manchester City game to go over. We also had VIP winner with Juventus yesterday against PSV. Hopefully your picks came home as well in the Champions League. We did have a winner here on the show with Sub, and that Dortmund-Lisbon game did end up going over yesterday. So we're back at it. Champions League here again. We'll talk about the games here. Watching some great tennis action from Doha, Qatar as well right now. The ladies having a great tournament here. And also maybe we'll touch on a little bit of golf this week. Genesis Invitational. The picks will come out tomorrow, but we did hear this week that Tiger would not make the field just days after he said he would make the field. Of course, his mother passed away this week, Catilda, and so Tiger's going to take a little bit more time off, but they did give the Genesis Invitational Tournament did donate $8 million to Los Angeles Fire Relief. The tournament will be played in San Diego again this week. So that's Torrey Pines will host the tournament here 2 weeks this season. We got some steam coming in right now in the game between start all running off here with San Antonio and Boston. Steam coming in on the under here in this one between San Antonio and Boston. This total was as high as 234, but we're down to 232.5 here right now with steam coming in on San Antonio and Boston. Let me say hello to some folks in the chat here. Get ready for the show. Good morning, everyone. Let's see who is here. Blue is here first today. Hello to Blue. Good morning. Here is Sports Money joining us in the chat today. Smash it, like it. Here, as we had a great time last night, didn't we, Sports Money, with the show on Kick? last night. Boy, I sent a message to Razor thanking him for producing the show. Or I told him, I said, hey, that was fun. If we did that more often, I'd probably like to go on a show like that. Hopefully, you're able to catch us over there yesterday. What's going on with the scoreboard here? I don't like that. The scoreboard looks. I gotta reset the scoreboard here. It looks like we got like live scores, like we're in the middle of the games here. I wish we could turn back the clock a little bit. See if we can't get a good score. There you see the trick there with the scoreboard. Let's see if we get the best scoreboard though up there right now. See if it resets. Just an app. All right, Lando here, Big O here as well, Joe W there also, Irish King here. Uh, Exciting games last night. And see who else is here in the chat. Bobby Mack is here. We might not have a scoreboard here today. Not that we need it, Terrell. Good morning. Called that over there. And there we go. That looks better now. Philly Eagle Flyer here as well this morning. Hello, hello, Amsterdam. What else is here today? There's also one good game also in the Premier League today. We mentioned the 4 Champions League game. We do have a hot matchup that everyone's talking about with Liverpool and Everton today. And see who else is here. Jerry Davis, hello. And Sub is here, ready to give us some plays, I hope, for the Champions League. I think I have my plays ready. I do have my 3 best picks already up over at winnable.com for the subscribers. Thank you to all the subscribers right now. Really feel loved there with everybody joining the craze there. Like I said, very inexpensive. You get some extra plays from me, some extra content, if you will, when you subscribe to my picks over at winnable.com/Ramon. Get my best plays over there every day for just $4 a day, $8 a week, or $19.95 a month. Save 20% when you use the promo code STEAM on those packages. You click the QR code in the lower right-hand corner. It'll take you to my Winnable page. Over there, there's some free subscriptions you can sign up to as well. Try to send out a free package each day over there. And I'll have, for example, my golf, I think, on there, maybe a little tennis, but appreciate you listening to that. That's how you get some extra content from me every day over at winnable.com. Flanae Jones, thank you. Oh, Flanae liked it. Live Odds TV is the name of the app. It's like $5 a month, but I like it. I like having it behind me. Make me feel all important and official because it's a live scoreboard, not one of those fake scoreboards that some people use. Nothing wrong with a fake scoreboard. I just want a live scoreboard. So have some odds back there. You don't have to look at me all the time, right? You can look right behind me and kind of see some of the odds on the different games if you look closely or have me on your big TV. It's like having some extra graphics, some extra things to look at. All right. Now, speaking of things to look at, I thought I'd take a look at some of the results from yesterday's card in NBA and college basketball. NBA, we did have a couple of premium pick winners over at Winnable, including Toronto and Philadelphia game to go under. I had it. Mikey Money had it on his show, and we both had the Toronto Raptors as well in that game. I gave it out as my play on the morning steam, and then Mikey came back later with the combo of Toronto and under, so he had them both. Also, I had on the show yesterday, and so did Mikey on his show, Knicks Pacers game to go over there yesterday. Great job there. Also, we had on the show yesterday, what was it? The Memphis Grizzlies. We had as a premium pick winner there yesterday. over at winnable.com. We took Memphis over Phoenix, and that was kind of a wild one, right? It was a high score early, and Phoenix came all the way back from a massive deficit, almost grabbed the lead there, I think, and then Memphis ended up pulling away in the end and got the win in what turned out to be a bit of an under, actually, when it was all said and done. Over with the premium picks, so we did finish in the green there as well. I've got 6-4 as the record yesterday, including premium pick winners, Ohio and Bowling Green game to go over. Also, Buffalo over Northern Illinois. Also, we did have a winner on the show with Tennessee and Kentucky game to go under. You guys had it right yesterday. I had it. Mikey had it on his show. Consensus pick winner, Florida over Mississippi State, blowing them out of the water there. Great pick, Team Steam yesterday. Also, winner here on the show, already mentioned there in the chat, UCLA and Illinois game to go over yesterday. Also, premium pick winner, DePaul and Marquette game to go under. We did have that one as a premium there yesterday. Also, Team Steam consensus winner with Alabama yesterday over Texas. I had them. You had them. We both had them. Team Steam consensus with the winner with the Crimson Tide over Texas in resounding fashion. Also, premium pick winner, Colorado and Kansas game to go under. We also had SMU as a premium pick winner over Pittsburgh. Also, late night, we did have over on Kick, Utah State. Mikey Money had it, and I tailed along there. But we had it on the show last night with some late plays. I also had my late play with Oregon. Over there on Kick, Northwestern Oregon game to go over on Kick last night. So make sure you're looking for that coverage. That's pretty exciting what we're trying to do over there. And San Jose State was a premium pick winner over San Diego State. My Aztecs, they won again, totally having to come from behind in the final minutes because they can't beat any, they can't cover at all. And San Jose State was missing their top two players, and it still ended up being just a 3-point game. As San Diego State did win, but San Jose State got the money, and it did go over, much to my chagrin. Get a few more comments from the chat, and then we'll get going here on the coverage with today's games. See who else was in here right now with Donut talking about the winners there. Jerry was happy with the soccer. Somehow I end up with a bad loss on there. And Super True, happy birthday there. Wine time's here. All right. And Nate the Great. Hello to Nate. Jermaine hit some props. Here's Sub coming in with some of that soccer plays today. I was going to save it for the end of the show, but we might just go with it here. Feyenoord minus a quarter of a goal there. Okay. Terrell here says he was on some bulls there. Atalanta for Sub. He's lean. These are leans now, so lean. Lean there to Atalanta, and I think that's a lean there to the Monaco game to go over. Okay, a good soccer conversation there in the chat. Appreciate it. I think we'll get rolling here. Sports Money's got a pick here coming up with the action in Doha, with Elise Mertens and Alexandrova over. We're going to go over 20.5. Also, a Feyenoord team total over there. All right, Nasty Nate likes the Celtics first quarter, first half, and full game to get it done here. Celtics today They're in the bad spot. But Nate's on him, you know it. He likes him to roll here against the Spurs. We just heard that steam come in. And Old E here today as well. All right. Well, I see someone who is not here, so I'm a little worried, but we'll be able to handle the show. You tell me if there's a consensus play. I'm sure our man is just busy today. Maybe we'll get him in here. So, if not, Thomas, hopefully everything's okay. All right. Let's get it started though with the coverage here. You guys alert me here if you guys see a consensus this time. Maybe Mikey's in there as well. I always say a consensus has to be like a 3-vote edge. Is preferred, but sometimes we get a little desperate. All right, let's go to, man, this NBA card is huge. So we'll have to go down all the games here, and with between that, I've got a big college basketball card as well, and those 4 games in the Premier League, in the Champions League. All right, let's go. We've already said Celtics smash, so let's move on to the next one: Pacers and Wizards. No, just kidding. Well, I'm probably not on the Celtics in this one because, I'm just so stuck on the trends. I can't get away from it, even though finally the Celtics here have kind of bucked the trends in 2 of the last 4 games overall right now. So maybe they're kind of fixing those things a little bit. Here's some steam coming in right now on the game between Indiana and Washington. So maybe the Sharps are just going down the line here. They just took the under in San Antonio, Boston. Now they're taking the over here with Indiana and Washington. It was 240. We're up to 241. A high total there. We'll preview that one next. So, all right, here we are. We're back with the Boston Celtics. They've failed to cover the spread in 14 of their last 15 games at home when coming off of a win. So it's either as a dog or it's at home or whatever. It seems like it's the same thing over and over with Boston here. San Antonio has gone over in 4 straight games coming in. They're starting to go over a little bit, are the Spurs. And let's take a look at some of the other numbers, though, with these teams. See if we can't try to find something that would be other than the sheer talent of the great Boston Celtics. Clearly head and shoulders above the entire league here at this point. I mean, how do they even have any losses? Anyway, San Antonio, remember, they're still under 500 right now. They've lost 2 of their last 3, but they're coming in off of a win against Washington. Of course, they did not cover that game for Boston here. Actually, the covers are starting to come in. Like we said, they did win and cover against Miami. They blasted the Knicks there before that, and they also had that great win and cover against Cleveland. So maybe they're going to start just rolling all these teams here right now and try to get that spread record going a little bit, 9-17 against the spread at home, because they're always favored by too many points is what it is. So maybe this is low enough, though. I mean, obviously, just 8 points against a subpar San Antonio Spurs team. Boston's won 6 of their last 7 coming in. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these 2 teams have gone under. And we just saw that move come in on the under, but San Antonio has gone over in 12 of their last 14 games overall and 7 of their last 8 games on the road. San Antonio's been going over here. So that's what kind of had me puzzled there a little bit with the Sharps, because it just doesn't feel right necessarily here at this point. So, all right, I've got to go over. I can't agree with this steam at all in this game. I would think this one's headed for 240 today. I probably should go with that as the premium pick, because now if I keep going to the well here against Boston, it's going to come back to bite me like it has here in a couple of games recently. All right, let's see what we have here from you guys in this one with Boston. Taking on the Spurs here. The Wine Time says take the Spurs here in this one. Jermaine says take Wemby and his PR or his rebounds and assists here. Jermaine's got the under. Blue said, Steam said under, but I can't do it. And look at Nasty Nate here. He's got some props action with KP and Wemby. All right.
Steam playing.
Spurs and over here. Looks like Sports Money and I are going to be on the same page. Here's some steam coming in and a little college basketball right now. Just pass it along because it's Cleveland State, man. It's Cleveland State, the great Cleveland State at this point. Cleveland State was a 3.5-point favorite. They're going to be up to 4 or 4.5 here right now, taking the steam against Robert Morris in Horizon action tonight. Cleveland State taking the steam right now on the Morning Steam Show. All right. And Jesse Pagula just closed out Casakina. Won by 5 games. Celtics team total here, maybe for blue. I think Sports Money says maybe even the Spurs could surprise here and win this one. Irish Kings on Boston. Lando's on the over with us. Good morning to Gravy. All right. Give me here the over with San Antonio and Boston. I'll be in the premium land in that one. All right, next up. Pacers and Wizards here. So kind of that same thing, right? You got a big favorite here on the road, but the Wizards have been kind of getting they've been getting some spreads, even though they haven't been winning these games. They just covered 2 of the last 3 losses. They covered 11 points against San Antonio as losing by 10. They were getting 11. They did get blown out by Atlanta, but they covered that big 17.5-point spread against Cleveland. So they've been covering here for sure of late. Have the Wizards. It's hard to make any excuses for them, but they've been getting the money here, and they've been getting the money in this series. In fact, they've actually kind of owned this series against the Pacers. They've won 7 of the last 8 meetings between the Pacers and the Wizards here. Let's see. At home, anyway, not overall. Indiana, in fact, has already won this season back in November, 115-103. Indiana, that was a push on that given day. But here in Washington, Washington's actually won 7 of the last 8 meetings and covered all 7 of those. Also, 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have gone over. This one already got steam to the over, as we mentioned. Villanova is taking some steam right now in college basketball tonight. Villanova in that first game on the board there with St. John's, home dog here. They were getting 3. They're down to 2 here right now. Villanova against red hot St. John's. Villanova's taking that steam this morning. Ooh, now they kind of play well against St. John's, but we know how hot St. John's has been. They've been kind of the talk of the entire country there for a spell here last couple of days. All right, let's see what you guys do here. Indiana has won 13 of their last 16 games on the road, but they're on a 2-game losing streak right now and also lost 3 of their last 4. They haven't been covering many spreads of late either, and they're 13-16 as a favorite against the number. Washington's still, not a profitable team here against the number, but they've just been covering here for sure of late. So we'll go to the chat and see what you guys have here in this one. Washington has lost 10 straight games at home. And they've also they've been going over quite a bit in this series with Indiana. We're going to the chat here. And let's see here in this one. Pacers team total over for blue.
Steam play.
And Fernando's on the under here. And Lando's got some trends here talking about this one, I think. Not much from you guys, though, here in this one, it feels like. So I'm going to grab the over here with the Pacers and the Wizards. That's a pretty high number, but I don't know. For me, Pacers have gone 30-22 to the over this season. And, well, look, Washington, we know they have some scoring issues for sure, but this series does go over quite a bit. So I'm going to end up taking the over here in this one. All right. Let's go to next up the Hornets taking on the Magic here in this one with Orlando minus 11 and the total 205. Wow. This one a real low total here today in this matchup. Makes sense the way it's been going. And Magic, a double-digit favorite here. That in itself. In fact, I think it's much higher than 11 right now. It's 12.5 and 203. Where do we go from here? VMI is taking some steam right now in their matchup today. Seeing VMI here taking the steam currently against Greensboro. They were getting 10. It's down to 9 here with VMI taking the steam against Greensboro. All right. Charlotte comes in here off of a couple of losses to Brooklyn and Detroit. Orlando, meanwhile, lost to Atlanta 112-106 last time out. So Orlando still got to lay double digits here with an Orlando team that's not really covering well of late, just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games overall now coming in. They're also 0-6 against the spread, facing teams that are below 500. This series has gone under in 8 of the last 11 meetings here, or overall between these two teams. Charlotte's also gone under in 8 of their last 11 games overall. Orlando's dominated the series, going 7-1 straight up and against the spread in the last 8 meetings between the two teams. So domination for Orlando, still laying a big number to a Charlotte team that is 26-15 against the spread as an underdog. And Orlando struggling of late now to start to get some numbers here. So is it enough? That's the way I'm portraying it. Let's go to the chat and see here between Charlotte and Orlando. The Wine Time says he's got it a 15 or 20-point game here in an absolute blowout. Do have injury factors to look at here, of course, with LaMelo Ball going to be out of this game tonight. Diabate is questionable as well. Jalen Suggs, he's still doubtful now. I unlikely to make this lineup, it feels like. So, all right. Blue likes the under here. Maybe I'll just go under, Blue team total under for the Hornets. Fernando says too low now. This is getting crazy. How does this thing go, this low? 203. Charlotte is 14-30 to the under as an underdog. Orlando's to 11-20 to the under as a favorite. I'm going to take the under. with Orlando. I mean, it's got to be telling you something. Moved down from 205 to 203. The two teams are a combined 40 and 65 to the under this season. And yeah, pretty low, pretty low. So let's just go with it as our free play here. I have a feeling it's going to go right about 200, but I'd rather be on the low side here. All right, next up, got a lot of games here. Hawks and the Knicks tonight. Knickerbockers favored by 8. Total down here to 239.5 on some widely reported steam, but I don't know if I'm necessarily in favor of it. The line has moved here a little bit. Mostly
Steam play.
8s out there right now. The Mercer Bears are taking some steam right now in their matchup today with the Furman Paladins. Mercer was a 7-point dog. They're down to 6 here. Might even go to 5.5. Mercer is taking the steam against Furman in the college basketball card tonight. All right, we're looking at the Hawks and the Knicks here. The Hawks are on a 3-game winning streak and looking pretty good here of late. Just when you wanted to count them out a little bit, they're 21-13 against the spread as an underdog, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10. They are on a cover streak right now for sure. They are getting the money. The Knicks are in off of a 128-115 win last night against the Indiana Pacers as they got the money, laying 2 points there yesterday. And that was our featured game last night on the coverage on Kick. As the Knicks ended up kind of blowing them out of the water there in the end. So let's see what you got here, everyone, with the Hawks and the Knicks tonight at the Garden. The Knicks have gone over 5 of their last 6 games at home. They've gone over in 5 straight. Atlanta, 5, as we mentioned, 5 straight covers, 5-1 against the spread. Their last 6 games on the road. Let's go to the chat here. Maybe see if we got anything in this one. Blues got the under here. And Robert likes the under as well. Blue says we might need Thomas here to sort this out. We're not having any consensus at this point, it feels like. All right, well, I understand the pressure from the Sharps to the under, I guess, is what it feels like. But you still have a Knicks team that is 31-22 to the over. Atlanta's 31-23 to the over. Although I will say Atlanta goes over far more frequently at home than they do on the road. So I'm going to end up taking Atlanta here as my play, actually. Give me the Hawks here plus the points in this one. I'm going to take Atlanta, all these points. I feel like that might be the better play over the total, but again, Atlanta, like I said, this is a high number, and they're just 15-15 to the over-under on the road and 17-17 to the over-under as a dog. So maybe it is a little bit too high. Maybe that move to the low is the right move. All right, let's see what we got here. Anything else? Blue talking about the Knicks team total here. All right, and Jermaine is on Atlanta. Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta. All right, next up, we've got the Cavaliers and the Raptors. Okay, so Cavaliers back to their winning ways here a little bit. Well, get a steamer in here. Wyoming taking the steam here right now in their matchup tonight against New Mexico. Last game on the board, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. New Mexico was a 17-point favorite. They're down to 16 here right now, maybe even going lower. Wyoming taking the steam at the Pit tonight in Albuquerque. All right, and See if we can't get the tweet deck going just in case some breaking news happens. I don't know what's going on here. But let's go with this one with the Cavs and the Raptors today. Cavs here, winners of 3 straight, coming in right now. They beat Minnesota last time out, 128-107 as an 8-point favorite. Got the money in that one, but the previous 2 wins, they did not get the money, laying 17.5 to Washington, laying 3.5 to Detroit. And they're going to have to lay some points here for sure against the Toronto team we know is a pretty decent cover as a home dog. I mean, they're 28-17 against the spread as a dog, 17-10 against the spread at home in Cleveland. Certainly a great cover. We know that. They've been making people money all season long, 31-18 against the spread as a favorite. So, they're liable to get the money at any time, but still, you got to lay these big numbers to. I'd rather take the teams that are covering and then fade the teams that aren't. That sounds easy enough, but I think when the spread is large, it becomes more of a factor as you're trying to gauge the team's actual ability to cover a spread rather than just win or lose there a little bit. We've got steam coming in right now in tonight's Four Nations Cup. The steam is coming in on the over right now. It was already 6. It might have been shaded to the under. It might have been 6 flat, but right now it is moving to the over. In the Four Nations Cup, right now the steam is coming in on the over with Sweden and Canada tonight. Also, some steam just came in on Canisius. Canisius was getting 9. They're now getting 8. It looks like here with the steam coming in. Canisius at Niagara today, and Canisius taking the steam here right now at +9 down to 8. So okay, interesting there with that with that move in the Four Nations Cup. All right, what are you going to do here, Cavaliers and Raptors? Hopefully, I gave you enough thought in this one with some of the trends here for sure. You got Cleveland; they've won 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams. Cleveland 7-1 overall in their last 8 games. Toronto actually has won 9 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams in Toronto. So that's a pretty big sample size of about 6 years, actually, of games here. But Toronto's been better, probably, but I don't know. They're still a good money-making team here at home. So I'm going to take Toronto. They've covered the spread in 9 of their last 12 games overall. I'd rather take the points here. This one with Toronto getting now 14.5 in this one, and the total is 236. You could grade me at 13. I don't care, but you can get 14.5 right now in this one. How about that? Here we go. I think we're getting some plays here on this one. Blue likes the Cavs here. Lando likes the over and thinking this one. Says last 4 games for the Raptors on that back-to-back has gone over for them. Cavs are in good control here. And Trap God saying, I can get the 5.5. Take that 5.5 and go over for sure. But I don't know if there's any 5.5s left. If you can get 5.5, you take that right now. Blue likes Canada. Irish Kings. That wasn't even a segment, you guys, but I'm so glad that you guys are making the pick on the game here right now tonight. All right, let's move on here. I'm on the on the Raptors here in that one. Next up is Philly and Brooklyn here. Hey, this one might not make the cut if we had a bunch of games in hockey tonight with these two teams, but nonetheless, Philly comes in now with a 4-game losing streak. I thought they were turning things around for a second, but No, that's not the case. In fact, it's Brooklyn that's playing much better of late here. They've covered the spread in 6 of their last 10. They've been winning some games here for sure of late. Wins over Charlotte. Can only play who you're playing, but they beat Charlotte and covered the spread. They beat Miami up, covered the spread. They did lose to Washington. You don't want to do that, but they did sweep those games against Houston as well. So good little run here right now for the Brooklyn Nets, who are 25-20 against the spread as an underdog, and Philadelphia is just 7-15 against the spread as a favorite here now. Okay, I get it. Maybe Philadelphia's gotten their lineup back together a little bit. Maxey goes off at any moment. I don't know if Embiid's going to necessarily play today. He could be sitting this one out. Paul George, I'm not sure about him either. They're both questionable here today, and got to start playing these games right after a while. Try to get my tweet deck up here, you guys. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Pardon me, gang, while I fire up the tweet deck. I don't want any big news to pass us by. There we go. Sorry, I was in your face there a little bit. All right, so what else we got? Eric Gordon questionable in this one. Nets have some guys also that are missing here a little bit, but those are kind of long-term injuries. So we can just kind of go with it here as far as this matchup is concerned, the way I see it. And I'm going to just take the Brooklyn Nets to win this game. I'll take them on the money line here tonight for sure. Probably could go with them as a premium. It's just kind of a hard sell sometimes, even if it's one of your better plays. Say I like the Brooklyn Nets, but they're playing much better here for sure, getting the money in several games here of late, and they're in the best spot. It feels like today I got to take Brooklyn tonight to win against Philly. And Blues on the Nets as well. He'll take it. Hello to Cinna Figure It Out. Says he's got some Spurs and Wizards parlay there a little bit. Some bad weather in OKC. Fernando says, give me the Nets team total under. He doesn't like it doesn't matter. They could win the game, I guess. I think it probably is going to be an under game, if you know what I mean. All right, we're moving along here a little bit with some predictions for our NBA card tonight. Next up is the Pistons and the Bulls. Oh boy, I didn't see that. I didn't see it coming, guys. I gotta be honest with you. Last night, should have known better. It feels like Detroit was such an incredibly popular play with paid handicappers yesterday, but I went with the Bulls here on the show actually, and what an embarrassment. Now the fact that they have to play on back-to-back games, do you think the same thing's going to happen again? Or will the Chicago Bulls be ready this time? They at least, they were down at one point. They had been outscored in the second quarter, like 33-4 in the blowout win for the Pistons yesterday. So what can you do in this one? They're playing the back-to-back. Obviously, it was a very, very bad loss. It didn't look good for Chicago, right? They look to have some problems, is what it feels like here at this point. They've lost 3 straight. Meanwhile, Detroit's won 3 straight. Final last night was only 132-92 when it was all said and done. I think they actually led by more than that at one point. But Detroit, they've got the money in 3 of their last 4 games. These Bulls losses were also to Golden State and Minnesota. The Bulls are just 3-7 against the number in their last 10 games overall. Meanwhile, Detroit is 16-10 against the spread on the road. Now they are a big favorite here, bigger than yesterday a little bit, maybe by twice as much compared to yesterday's line. yesterday the line was what, 3.5 or 4 maybe, and the Pistons crushed. But today it's a little higher. Maybe after what happened yesterday. Doesn't look like it went up. Yeah, it did open 4.5 at some places, maybe even 4. So maybe the maybe bettors just didn't like what they saw there yesterday in that one. These two teams did meet already twice this month, with Detroit winning the other game 127 to 119 as a 6-point favorite. Detroit got the money in that one back in November. The Bulls did win by 10 points in Chicago, or no, at Detroit as a 4-point dog. So you got the final meeting of the season between these two. And what do you like in this one with Detroit and Chicago? Still, Chicago's won 18 of the last 22 games between the two teams, and they've won 8 of the last 10 meetings at home between the two teams. A lot of times, an embarrassing loss like that, a professional team can turn it around the next day, but be hard to sell someone on that if they watched last night's game, right? But Detroit, they are starting to beat up these bad teams right now, starting to look a little bit better. They're now a couple of games over 500. The Bulls are 10 games under 500. 7 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone under. We did have the under yesterday here on the show as our oh no, I'm sorry. We had the Bulls yesterday. I was on another show giving out that total, but the Bulls have failed to cover the spread in 7 straight games on a back-to-back. So maybe that's part of it too. I'll go to the chat and see what you have here. We've got Blue Bulls. Blue Bulls. remember whatever happened to Blue Balls guy? Does anybody remember what happened to him and all the other guys that were like Blue Balls? All right. Or remember the guy from the uh, political news last week, Big Balls. Of course, it was great to see all the commentators have to say Big Balls, because I guess every Washington informant doesn't have a real name and no one who knows who he is. So obviously that we have great investigatory organizations that can't even figure out who a real person is that is supposedly influencing, entire markets or other things. All right, here we go. Robert said he had the Pistons there. Blue team total over. Jerry said, do you think Chicago wins by 40 today? I don't know if they do, right? Terrell said the Bulls looked like a college team. You know what I said, Terrell? They look like Chicago State. All right, Robert likes the under again with this big total. How can you not, is what it feels like to me. This series goes under. Do they really? Now, look, the Sharps to me are clearly on the over in this game, but I don't know if I can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the under here in this one with Detroit and Chicago. I kind of want to play the side. All right. Toucan. It sounds like something I would like there. Sour blue raspberry. That would be something. It's an e-juice. E-juice, is that like an electronic juice or what is that? All right. Let's go next to the Heat and the Thunder. Man, the Heat are a big underdog here against the Thunder. Spread here at 12.5 right now and 218 in this one. So let's take a look and see what the story is here with these two, because you've got coming in here, obviously, big mismatch, but the Heat trying to recover here now. Where do they stand after the whole getting rid of Jimmy Butler? Did they get enough for it? Probably not, but what are you going to do? Right now, the spread's up to 13.5, and the total's 219. On some widely reported steam here to the over in this one. Oklahoma State is on a big winning streak right now, no doubt about it. Now, they're not covering the spread every time, but just about every time at this point. But the Heat have lost two in a row. They got blown out by Boston, didn't cover. They got blown out by Brooklyn and didn't look good in that one. But you got to give Spoelstra a chance here to try to start to turn it around a little bit. And why not now getting big time double digits? Tyler Hero is questionable. Jaime Jaquez is questionable. Kevin Love is out for the Heat. For the Thunder, Holmgren is out of this game. Wallace is out of this game. And Uzumane Dang is out. Now, Isaiah Joe is probable after getting that knee banged up a little bit, but still, you've got a few players out here. It's going to definitely affect the rotation, it feels like, of the Thunder. Miami's been a crummy spread team, no doubt about it. It's hard to kind of want to back them for sure. In fact, if you look at it, Oklahoma City, they're 20-9 against the spread at home. 31-17 against the spread as a favorite. Miami's failed to cover in 7 of their last 10 overall, but I gotta trust Spoelstra here to somehow turn this around and get something done as a big dog. I'm going to take the Heat. I'll take the Heat, and then I'll take the Heat. See if you guys have this one. I imagine Oklahoma City still could be popular. Here's Blue likes the under here in this one, or team total under. And Senna figured out, says 218 is too low. It's a Thunder blowout. Terrell says the Heat'll be in there if Hero plays. It looks like he could be on target to play in this one. Irish King's got an exact score, and he says they'll win it by 17 points. An easy cover there. And that is an under for sure. Robert likes it over. All right, I'm taking the Heat. Next up, Kings and Pelicans, with the Kings a 5-point favorite here on the road. Now, this is an all Pelicans series, no doubt about it, but have things shifted enough that really isn't a factor in this game, given what we know right now about the Kings here. If anything, they're playing a little bit better now. Again, all of a sudden, they ran into a little bit of difficulty after that hot resurgence there with Coach Christie, but they've won 2 in a row. In fact, they didn't even cover the spread in the last 2 games. They actually failed to cover. Meanwhile, New Orleans, they're coming in off of a 137 to 101 loss to Oklahoma City. They did play Sacramento and got the money back 4 days ago at Sacktown. Sacramento has not been a good cover in this role. They're 13-22 against the spread as a favorite. They've gone just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10, but New Orleans is 2-7-1 against the spread in their last 10. Even though New Orleans has not been a good cover at home, they're actually 13-12 against the spread. So on the road, they're 8-19 against the spread. They do not cover well on the road at all, but at home it's a little bit different story. And the fact that maybe they do have the number a little bit of Sacramento. New Orleans has covered 5 straight meetings against Sacramento, and the last 5 meetings between these 2 teams here in New Orleans have gone under. So let's see what you have here in this one. I don't know if I buy the under though with these 2 teams, but I'll probably just go to the side here. New Orleans, after all, is 17-8 to the over at home, 24-16 to the over as a dog. I'll go to the chat here and see what you guys have in this one with the Kings and the Pelicans. It's been 9 straight losses here right now for New Orleans, so it'd be kind of tough to recommend them, but I think that's where I want to go. I mean, New Orleans, they've covered 8 straight overall against the Kings. What did I say here? 5 straight here in New Orleans, but 8 straight overall. All right. See what we got here in this one. With Pelicans are going to win some games here and there. You got to find some they're going to win. I got to take the Pelicans too. Give me the Pelicans as the play. I kind of want to play them as a premium, but nothing else from you guys on this one. All right, I better move on. Bucks and Timberwolves. Timberwolves are favored by 6.5. The total 224.5 in this one. And the story is, of course, no Giannis. Big problem is kind of what it feels like with these two teams. And he's definitely out here with that calf problem. Also, Connaughton is probable in this one. Ant is questionable. Julius Randle still out right now. Conley questionable here. So what it comes down to is they just don't cover the spread if Giannis isn't in the game right now. They're definitely failing to cover in a lot of these games. Got some steam coming in. Just want to pass this one along. Tulsa and Temple, steam to the under here. Interesting to note that Tulsa and Temple, that series is a big time under when those two teams meet. Although this season, both teams kind of tick over there. But the steam came in at 147. It's down to 146 between Tulsa and Temple. All right, so let's get back here to this matchup with the Bucks and the Timberwolves, as the Bucks have failed in 6 straight games without Giannis Antetokounmpo in the lineup. Minnesota's been covering a few more games here of late. They were on a 3-game winning streak before they got blown out by Minnesota last time out. Meanwhile, for Milwaukee, they lost to Golden State at home 125-111 last time out. Go to the chat here, I guess, and see what you have in this one with Minnesota here taking on the Bucks tonight. Milwaukee, I mean, they can't even, come close in some of these road games, it feels like. Milwaukee has gone over in 12 of their last 17 games overall. Minnesota's 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games coming in. All right. See what you got here. Milwaukee has covered 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams in Minnesota and won those games as well. But probably had Giannis. All right, we'll go in the chat here with the Bucks and the Timberwolves right now. Robert is going under. And Fernando's going over, and so's Blue. But I'm going with... Yes, and I figured out, says Giannis, but no, it doesn't look good right now. We're going to have more time on the shelf for Giannis right now. AOD says Timberwolves going to win this one big time. I agree with that. Give me Minnesota here in this one. I'll lay the points tonight with the Wolves at home. I'll lay the points. All right. Next up, Suns and Rockets. In this one, you've got the Rockets here by 6.5, total 225 here in this one. Widely reported steam did come in on the over right now. It's up to 224.5 at some spots, and Houston mostly still a 6.5 point favorite. Houston has covered 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams overall. Four of the last five meetings between the two teams here in Houston have gone under, but Phoenix has gone over in four of their last five games on the road. However, Houston's gone under in four of their last five games at home. Phoenix continues to be one of the worst spread teams in the league with an 18-34 spread record, including 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games and 6-14 against the spread as an underdog. Meanwhile, Houston, they're 29-23 against the spread. They do a pretty good job. Houston has won 13 of the last 14 games between these two teams when they were favored to win. And Phoenix here, of course, played last night against Memphis, and they might have exuded some energy there in that game, it felt like, having to come back and then end up losing the game. Houston's gone under in 5 straight games as a favorite. And let's go to the chat here and see what you have with Phoenix taking on Houston. I'm going to the chat with Blue on the Rockets money line. All right, that's it from you guys. Let me pass along some steam here and then I'll make a pick. Right now, we're getting steam here with Fort Wayne and Youngstown. Steam to the over in this one. Man, it was. Now, let me back it up here a little bit. I got another one right behind it. Presbyterian and Charleston Southern. Steam to the under here in this one. It was 138.5. It's down to 137.5 with Presbyterian and Charleston Southern. Also, Fort Wayne and Youngstown, steam to the over here. It was as low as 156, but we're up to 158 right now or higher with Fort Wayne and Youngstown tonight. Youngstown doesn't lose at home too often, but they're a slight dog in that game. Colgate taking some steam right now in their game against Holy Cross. They own Holy Cross. They were a 3-point favorite. It's up to 4 or more. Man, Colgate is they should be much better than Holy Cross, shouldn't they? All right. Also, VCU and GW steam to the over here with those two teams. It's a series that usually goes over when those two under when those two teams meet. But the steam came in at 140-ish and is up to 141.5 here, maybe even 142 with VCU and George Washington steam to the over. All right, see if we got anything more here. How can you trust the Suns? And that's about it from you guys on that game. You guys are not fond of this one, it feels like. With Phoenix and Houston here.
Steam play.
One more here real quick, and then I'll make my call. Arizona State and Texas Tech. Steam to the over here at 143. It's going up to 143.5 or 144 here. Arizona State and Texas Tech. Steam to the over in that one. All right. And let me go to Phoenix and Houston here. I've got this one to go under tonight at Houston. Give me the under with Phoenix and Houston as my play. All right. Next up, Lakers and Jazz here. Can the Lakers keep this going at this point? It's got to get a little bit tough here, no matter how bad the Utah Jazz are. The teams just met the other night, remember, and the Lakers smashed them 132-113 as a 12-point favorite. The Lakers are smashing everything in sight right now. Obviously, it's a new look Lakers team. It wasn't all about Luka's first game. The Lakers were playing well before that, through all the turmoil there. I don't know how long the turmoil was really going, but it certainly was there in their games prior, their prior two games when that trade developed. Now, uh, these two teams here, like I said, right now the Lakers on a long win streak, a long cover streak. Utah's actually lost three in a row here right now, failing to cover the spread in each one on the road against the Suns, the Clippers, and the Lakers. But they're back at home now. 9 of the last 11 meetings between these two teams have gone over, and 5 of the last 6 meetings here in Salt Lake City between these two teams have gone over as well. These two teams are kind of going over here of late, it feels like, especially Utah. Utah 28 and 22 to the over as an underdog here. Lakers uh, seem like they're going to knock out everything in sight here at this point. Sure, they need a center. They signed Alex Len yesterday. He's not the answer, but they've got to have some big man presence, and that's what they're going to end up with after that trade has fallen through. Remember, it was the Lakers who said this man is injured, not the Hornets. The Hornets are saying, hey, you got to let that trade go through. We agreed to it. All right, let's see what you have here with this one. I'm sure you have more opinions here in this game. Lakers team total over for blue. Wine Time says, I got to take the Jazz now in this one, the way this is going. And hello to Perky. He says, Team Steam consensus came through with those solid plays yesterday. Great job, Team Steam. Yayod says, what is the motivation for the Lakers here? Robert likes the over in this one. I like the over in every Laker game. It feels like moving forward. Just feels like that's the way they're going to play right now. What you see is what you get. I know the Sharps are on the under here, and I kind of want to do it myself despite what I just said. All right. Give me the Lakers here in this one to get this blowout on the road once again today. Now, they are hot right now. I usually would be on Utah here, but I'm going with the Lakers today. Here's Fernando that says take the Jazz team total under. I might actually, I know that Bobby Mack went on the over, but I might be on the under as my premium here. I could be wrong, but I know what the Lakers are looking like, and it's hard to make an argument for an under here, but okay, next up, here's the Trailblazers and the Nuggets. Here in this one, you got the Nuggets favored by 11.5. The total down to 232.5 here in this one.
Final.
There we go. 232.5 with the Nuggets. Like I said, maybe 11.5, maybe 12 here in this one, but you do have Portland here off of a couple of losses in a row currently, dropping games to Denver and to Minnesota. It was 146 to 117. The Nuggets got the win at home here 2 nights ago. So, can they repeat that performance here? It was an easy win. It was an easy over in that game. But can they repeat that performance here? Or can Portland close the gap a little bit? Portland, for all their success, they're not really covering very many games on the road. That's where they're having their problems here right now. At home, they're money, but on the road, not so much. This series has gone over in 4 straight meetings right now. Denver is on a massive win and cover streak here for sure. Denver looking very, very sharp, covering all the games here, but still Portland's 11-2 against the spread in their last 13 games. It just so happens those two non-covers are the last two games back to back. The Nuggets have won and covered 5 straight. So is it kind of starting to move in the Nuggets direction? Remember, they don't cover big numbers that well, although they have done so here a little bit of late. Really interesting. Let's go to the chat and see what you have here with Portland and Denver. I know what I'm doing. I really want to use it as a premium, but I'm just not sure as a side. So I'm going with the over as my pick here a little bit. As my pick. The steam came in on the under, but I'm going over. I don't know enough about the side. It feels like I'm still probably going to get there. There may still be some movement here to come with this game. After all, well, let me see. The injury report is not that significant here, right? Robert Williams is questionable for the Blazers. Grant is questionable. Murray's questionable. Scoot is out. Ayton is out. So significant injuries for sure there. But Denver also, Westbrook's still out right now. Michael Porter Jr. questionable here. Gordon probable. Murray probable. I'm going with the over in that one. All right. Maybe a few more comments here. Terrell said Denver to cover. And let's see here. AOD says Nuggets wire to wire. Blue said go over in that one. All right, I will. Give me the over with Portland and Denver. All right, next up is Golden State and the Mavericks here. And look, don't laugh now, it feels like, right? Let's give every bozo general manager that doesn't know what they're doing a chance to prove the world wrong. Here, Denver, last couple of games. Dallas, covered the spread against Sacramento, lost that game by 1 point. They were getting 1.5. They've covered 4 games in a row here right now, ever since the deal went down, it feels like. Golden State, meanwhile, has won and covered the last 2 games against Milwaukee and Chicago here. I know everyone wants to, dump on Dallas here, but remember, it was Golden State that was kind of the laughing stock for a while, at least by Golden State's standards. But, obviously the situation with Davis does make it tougher here right now for Dallas, but they also have some other injuries. Washington questionable, Exum questionable, Gafford out. That's big news, but we knew it. It didn't look good with that knee problem, and indeed it is a problem. Also, Dwight Powell is out. Kuminga's still out, of course, for the Warriors, but that's about it. So the injury bug does seem kind of big, and that's why the Warriors have moved out here to now a 7-point favorite this morning. Mostly on that Gafford news, I believe. We got to fix that. One thing Dallas had was a little bit, I thought, of depth. Total here 233. There we go. So Dallas still 15-11 against the spread at home. And I know no one's going to want to take Dallas in this situation now with these injuries running amok, but I still might do it here. See what else we got. There's Blue on Golden State money line. Thank you, Razor, for a great night last night. I told Razor in a private DM, if we could do that every night, I probably would do it. You put 8 games above my head where people could watch us talk about the live games with 8 live sporting events right above us. That's a winner right there. I just hope that we could pull that off. Robert's on the under here. AUD says the Mavs are banged up for sure. No doubt about it. And Irish King, Golden State spread. AOD likes the combination of Curry and Butler. I hope it works. Butler seems to take everything down. Could Butler and Draymond have just a great relationship? Jerry here, Golden State and Dallas team total under. He likes Golden State in this game to do the job. All right, Stockton Razor there. And Jerry said Gafford went down again. It was heartbreaking. Mavericks team total under. All right, nobody wants the Mavericks here, but I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them here, mostly on the spot. The spot says Dallas. I agree with everything on the injury front right now, but the spread has gone up here slightly. Golden State, they're still just 15-15 against the spread as a favorite. Dallas, like I said, ever since the deal went down, they've covered every game. So, yeah, we knew what they were up against with the personnel changes that were going on, and they still were getting it done. They're faced with some more adversity here tonight. I'm going to take Dallas on ESPN. All right, finally, it's the Grizzlies taking on the Clips tonight. And you have the Clippers here coming in. Look, the Grizzlies played last night, obviously, and a wild one on the road at Phoenix. Got it done. Now here's the Clippers, favored by only 4.5, and the total 237.5. And I don't know. For me, I would think that the Clippers might be in an okay position here, even as a favorite in this one. They're covering like nobody's business right now. They're one of the hottest covers in the league, certainly at this point. They have lost 3 of their last 4 games and haven't covered in 4 of their last 5. But before that, it was money. So maybe they can get back to it here a little bit. They're still 19-9 against the spread at home, 18-10 against the spread as a favorite. Memphis has been a great cover, one of the best in the league, no doubt about it. But again, coming in on the back-to-back last night, traveling here to the Clippers. Memphis has covered 7 of their last 8 games on the road. They've also gone over in 9 of their last 10 on the road. Clippers have gone over in 5 of their last 6 games overall. Now, the series has gone under in 5 of the last 6 games, but both these teams are trending heavily to the over right now, and we know that Memphis has been a big-time over, even though last night's game did go under. They are 13-4 to the over as a dog, 20-6 to the over on the road. Clippers have been an under team. We've hit them before, but they have gone over now, like I said, in not only 5 of their last 6, but 7 of their last 10. And I'm going to take the over in this one with the Clippers after last night didn't get there. I'm going to go with the over, though, tonight with the Clippers and the Grizzlies. All right, and let's see what you got here. Guys are talking about the Luka trade in the chat. Here's Clippers team total over here. Jerry says numbers too short in that game for Dallas. All right, I guess that's it with the NBA. Probably no consensus there, it felt like, with a tough 15-game card. I don't think there was a lot of agreement there, even if we had to do it on our own without Thomas. Hope everything's cool with Thomas today. He deserves a day off. He shows up about every day like I do. Maybe once every month or 2 he misses one. We've seen that, so I'm sure everything's fine. Steam coming in on the Dallas Mavericks right now. The steam is moving here on Dallas. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was what who else just said it right there? Somebody in the chat, we're just Jerry David, maybe Jerry and I, we influenced the market here. And Terrell says he likes the Grizzlies game, or as he calls it, with Grizzlies and Clippers. I don't know if I can even put this word on the screen without getting in trouble, but I just have to do it. And everybody loves a good Clizzy. Is that like a glizzy? Everybody knows I like to go over to the South Point and pick up a few glizzies here once or twice a week. All right. I'm going to move to college basketball here. And thank you for your NBA contributions. All right. We're getting to it here. Let's go to the top of the board here right now with St. John's and Villanova. Wow. Let's get it started with a hot game here, of course, between the Johnnies and the Wildcats. We already said that steam came in on Villanova, moving this one from 3, possibly down here right now to 2, pretty much 2 everywhere. The total 139 and a half here in this one with St. John's on the road here, coming in red hot, 21-3. They're ranked 9th in the country. It feels like they should be in the top 5 at this point. You just have to overcome some biases against against the Big East in general, maybe even against Patino to a certain extent. But it does feel like once Patino gets a hot team like this, right? We've done it everywhere, it seems like. And why wouldn't this team be a team that you could? Now, everyone says the value is gone, but they're not being graded yet as a Final Four team or anything. As far as the futures, as far as I know, as far I didn't look last night, but looked a couple of nights ago, and I don't think you're going to count them out even against those SEC teams. You're not. I just don't think you can count Patino out in a one game. Now, I don't know if they have to go up against a couple of them. I guess it could be a problem, but it does feel like the typical. Here's Patino again. All of a sudden, shows up somewhere else, and he's got the wins coming. Kind of like when I was singing the Robert Goulet song last night on the Kick channel with the guys. It was Patino that would kick a little tush, and then it's back on the bus. All right, Villanova's won a couple in a row, also following following a losing streak, but they beat Xavier, got the money. They beat DePaul and got the money. St. John pretty much gets the money every time, but they beat Connecticut, Marquette, Providence, Georgetown, Xavier, all in a row here as part of their hot streak right now. St. John's has won 6 of their last 7 games on the road. Now, make this point. Villanova has won 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams, but consider right now the type of team that we're dealing with here, it feels like, with St. John's. Now, 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone under, and Villanova's also kind of showing some under tendencies, it feels like, in some of these games at home in conference play. As an underdog. They're not underdogs very often, but they have been more so of late. So, okay, if you have anything, let me know in this one with Villanova at home. I'm going to the chat and see if you're what you have. With AOD, like in St. John's here. He's liking Ricky P. Old E says St. John's is on the card. Robert's going over here. I don't know if I'm going over, though. Even though Bobby Mack and I, our totals are often clicking. Let's see here. And Nuke is here. Good morning to Nuke. He says 80% of the money and the bets are on St. John's. They're really popular. So Nuke says, I got to go contrarian with this now in this situation. The widely reported steam did come in on Villanova here. And there was some impressive reverse line movement as well. I'm going under here as my play with St. John's and Villanova. Even Terrell says Patino could turn Chicago State around. Perky on St. John's here. Perky loves his favorites, I will say. JW says Nova, because that win for St. John's over, in that last game against Connecticut was big. But we saw Connecticut. Well, I don't know, Connecticut. Look what they did yesterday, right? Jerry says, give me St. John's. AOD's on the under. And let's see. I think Jerry's on the under here with me. Nasty Nate says St. John's to smash here in this one. All right. I'm taking the under. Next up, in the college board here is Iowa and Rutgers. I picked mostly bigger games here today, it feels like. Jermaine, tomorrow's Thursday. We'll have some great games to go over and some of the mid-major Thursday. But here you've got Iowa taking on Rutgers in New Jersey. Iowa, 6.5-point dog here in this one. Got some steam coming in I want to pass along right now with the Memphis Grizzlies in that game against the Clippers. It was maybe 4.5. Looks like we're going to 3.5 here right now with Memphis taking the steam against the Clippers just moments ago. All right, let's keep it going, though, in the colleges here with Iowa on the road taking on Rutgers. Iowa here is just 13-10. Rutgers 12-12 overall. Iowa struggling big time here right now. They haven't covered a game in a few weeks for sure. They did have a recent win over Penn State, but it's been all losses and failures beyond that. Iowa's just 1-7 against the spread as an underdog, 1-5 against the spread on the road. Meanwhile, Rutgers is 6-3-1 to the number in their last 10 games overall. I think it's pretty obvious where I'm going. There's something wrong with Iowa. They're broken. Yeah, they've won 7 of the last 8 meetings against Rutgers, but they are a 6.5-point dog here. Rutgers has covered 4 of their last 5 games overall. Maybe 4-0-1 if you count that last game against Maryland as a push. Some people call that a loss. Could be a push. I don't think it was a win, but 4 out of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone over. But Rutgers at home, they kind of show more as an under team in some of these conference games when they're favored. They're not favored as often, but you look at some of their scores at home recently. Rutgers, well, 153. That was an under against Illinois. The Michigan State game was also under this number, but yeah, a lot of these games do go under actually here at home. Look at these. Illinois 155, the Michigan game. That makes sense. 129, the Michigan State game 155. That's a pretty high number here, even if you think about it there. I'm gonna take the I'm going to take the under in this one as my play here on the Morning Steam Show. I'm going to try the under here. I know Iowa goes over every game, it feels like. They're 6-2 to the over as an underdog this season, but I'm going to try to go under here in this one. Look, Rutgers should actually, they might smash Iowa here today and leave Iowa in the dust a little bit and leave them short of their team total, it feels like. I'm probably going to play a premium on Rutgers, actually. AUD says they need a W. Terrell says Rutgers home games under. Yeah, I'm going to go under. I don't think Iowa's even going to be able to be competitive in this game. I don't mean, I'm not saying 20-point blowout, but I think a cover here maybe for Rutgers is what I'm going to be looking at. Big O says these teams are going up and down the floor today. Ramon, don't even think about it. All right. And let's see here. James Parham, good morning. And Jerry says you could lay it with Rutgers. It might be close, but Robert's laying it with Rutgers. All right, I'm on Rutgers. Well, I'm on the under, actually. Let me get my official play there. On the under here in this one.
System playing.
All right, next up, got a matchup here between Ole Miss and South Carolina. Wow, how about this one with these two teams? This is always an over series for sure when these two teams meet. But this year, right now, Mississippi and South Carolina are teams that are going under for sure here of late. So we'll have to see. But let's take a look at the side, of course, in this one with Ole Miss ranked 19th in the country, of course, right now. Favored here on the road against the South Carolina team that's losing and in a bad way. It feels like right now they're not playing well. Ole Miss comes in off of a couple of wins here. They did not cover last out against LSU, but they did cover against UK. Ole Miss is 6-3 against the spread on the road. South Carolina is 9-6 against the spread at home. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams here in Columbia have gone under. 5 straight meetings between the two teams have gone under, and South Carolina has gone under in 6 of their last 7 overall. This series is like I said, a dead under. These two teams are going under here a little bit. Now, there is some inclination for South Carolina. They've gone over in a lot of these when South Carolina is matched up against good competition, they usually end up getting into higher scoring games. But right now, I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. Mississippi is 4-11 to the under as a favorite. South Carolina is 4-9 to the under as an underdog. They're also 8-15 to the under overall and have gone under in, what did I say? 8 of their last 10, 6 of their last 7 at home, 8 of their last 10 overall. I'm going on the under here with Mississippi State and South Carolina. It feels like a premium actually, but I'll just give it out here. There's a lot of games today. Jerry's on South Carolina and also take a little money line there as well to end that losing streak. Next up, Stanford and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's favored in this one by 2 over Stanford. Total here at 145. Stanford comes in at 16-8 right now, doing a pretty good job here in the ACC. This was one, I thought that, the two California teams would have success in basketball. I thought they'd also have a little success in football. I guess that wasn't necessarily the case, but so far Stanford's had a pretty good season, no doubt about it. They come in here with a 16-8 record. They've lost 2 of their last 3, but won 5 of their last 7 overall, and they are 8-5 in the ACC right now coming in. Stanford currently sits in 5th place behind Duke, Clemson, Louisville, and SMU. They're actually tied with SMU. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech's just 5-8 in conference play so far. They have won 2 of their last 3 games, but come in off of a loss to Virginia, 71-65 on Saturday. Before that, they were in a little bit of a cover streak here. Were the Yellow Jackets? They're 6-4 against the spread as a favorite. Stanford is just 5-3 against the spread as a dog. So see what you have here. Really, this one, not a lot of trends going one way or the other, but still see what you have here with Stanford and Georgia Tech tonight. I'll go to the chat here. and see what you guys have in this one. Stanford's went just 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games on the road. Stanford also over and for their last 6 on the road. Roberts on Stanford, Oldies on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech team total over, as a matter of fact. I'm going under in this one. Georgia Tech is 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games at home. Give me the under though with Stanford and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is 6-10 to the under at home this season. JW likes Georgia Tech. Next up for me is Louisville taking on North Carolina State. Louisville's favored here on the road by 7 and the total 142. Louisville's had a pretty good series against North Carolina State for sure. They've covered 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams. Louisville's also 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 road games overall. Louisville comes in 18-6 right now. North Carolina State has won 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two. So some of those games when NC State was favored, Louisville got the money as a dog. NC State's actually won the last 4 meetings in a row, but Louisville's covered the spread in those games, or at least in a couple of them, I'm pretty sure. But still, you look at what's going on right now, and North Carolina State is on a pretty significant losing streak, and now they've gone 3-8-1 against the spread as an underdog, while Louisville is 9-1 against the spread on the road. They're on fire. So, see if you have anything here in this one with Louisville on the road. Big favorite here, but they're doing pretty well covering numbers too, as evidenced here. All right. And good morning to Kelly today, taking Stanford in that last game. There's one on this one. James is on Louisville. I'm on Louisville. Hey, you don't have to tell me twice. Give me Louisville here in this one. Look, this is you look at the total in this one. Maybe I'm telling you what I'm doing here later, but Louisville 8-16 to the under this season. NC State 8-15 to the under, but 4-11 to the under at home. 3-9 to the under as a dog. Louisville 4-13 to the under on the as a favorite. So Perky says Louisville all day. Louisville and St. John's parlays Wednesday special.
Final.
All right. I got a couple more, and then we'll preview the soccer matches here and maybe even mention the Four Nations Cup. VCU is taking on George Washington. In this one, you've got VCU favored on the road, 9.5. Big number here, but it might be possible here for VCU to get this win and cover on the road. We'll see what you guys have here in this one, but you do have the total here at 140. Is that right? I'm going to have to look it up. I think it's higher than that, isn't it? 143. So pretty significant move, actually. Big move, it feels like, to 143. The game is at 9 currently. This is an under series between these two teams for sure when these teams get together. But nonetheless, the move on the total, that's up good 3 points or more at some books coming into this. So let's see what you have. VCU, George Washington. VCU has won 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams right now. All 6 of the last 7 at George Washington. VCU has won. Now, George Washington doesn't lose very often at home, but they're up against it here today. GW's won 14 of their last 16 home games, dating back to last season. But this is a little bit tougher for sure today. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams here at George Washington have gone under. And let's go to the chat and see what you have here in this one with VCU and GW. The real G-Dub. Some of you might say Gardner Webb is the real G-Dub. This one's on Peacock tonight. Get your Peacock on. PCU 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games overall, 15-6 against the spread as a favorite. GW been okay in this role for sure. 8-5 against the spread at home, 5-3 against the spread as a dog, but BCU, I think they're much the best here, it feels like to me. They've won 3 straight coming in, covers against Dayton and LaSalle, and they blew out Richmond by 40 points about last week, 10 days ago, 10 or 11 days ago now. For George Washington, they did beat St. Bonaventure by 10 last time out, but they had losses before that to Mason and LaSalle. So I'm going to take BCU on the road here and lay these points. Today, I'll lay 9. And we'll go to the chat. And let's see here. Kelly says BCU's been crushing in the second half. Take him in the second half, she says today. JW's on GW. How about that? You see what I did there? Jerry says, give me the Colonials in this one, or as we like to call them now, the Revolutionaries. Robert says, go under here in this one. And JW says they only blow the opponents out on the road, not at home, not on the road. Yeah, I'll give that to you for sure. They did beat up on Bonaventure, one of the best spread teams in the country, but still was only at no, what was it? That was at home, 75-61. You're right. Yeah, the Dayton game, 5-point win. I get that. They lost to St. Louis. Good one, JW. Oldie, though, on BCU. And Big O says, I like the over in Army and Loyola of Maryland today. Thank you, Big O. How can you not like the over with those two teams today? Good call. All right. Going to do a couple more here, and the show will be over. Thank you, everybody, for joining me here on the morning steam. Xavier taking on Providence. We got to have Providence in here for Nate. With the Friars, though, they don't lose often at home, but they're an underdog here to X today. Xavier, a 2-point favorite over the Friars in this one. For Xavier, they come into this game with a record of 14-10. Providence 11-13 right now. Providence has lost 3 straight games, although they did cover against Butler and they covered against St. John's. They did get blown out by Creighton. Still, Providence is 9-4 against the spread as an underdog. Xavier 8-4 against the spread as a favorite. Give them credit there for sure in that one. These two teams have not met yet this season, but the last meeting here was 85-65. XU won, although they Providence did return the favor next time out at Xavier back in February, nearly a year ago to the day, in a 4-point victory as a 5-point dog. All right, let's see what you have here in this one. Providence here comes in having gone over in 9 of their last 10 games overall. Also, they're 9-4 to the over as a dog. Xavier is 4-8 to the over as an underdog, as a favorite. This is a dead over series for sure between these two teams. 5 straight meetings here in Rhode Island have gone over, and 5 straight meetings overall between the two teams have gone over as well. And let's see what we got here. I think Robert likes the under, though, in this one. And Xavier team total under for Oldie. Jerry says XU's desperate here. Got to take them in this spot. They've not been covering for sure. Old E says Xavier team total under. All right, I'm going to take Providence here in this one plus the points. Look, Providence, like I said, at home, Providence still pretty good, right? They're 9-3 straight up. XU on the road is just 2-7 straight up. But interestingly, so you have Providence 9-3 straight up at home, but 3-10 straight up as an underdog. Meanwhile, Xavier, they're 2-7 straight up on the road, but they're 12-0 as a favorite this season. What a game this is going to be. I'm going to take Providence, though, to snap that streak. Good morning to Spoons today in the chat. All right, couple more here. You got to talk about Drake. Everybody's talking about Drake. And we're not talking about K-Dot either. We're talking about the Drake Bulldogs, one of the best teams in the country, record-wise. 22-2 now for Drake, as this is not stopping at this point. Will not stop here. Not only are they winning, they are getting the money. In a lot of cases, they're almost starting to become overrated to a certain extent. Now, granted, they do have 2 conference losses this season, but that came early on. They've won now 10 straight conference games here, and they're favored, of course, here against Illinois State now on the road. Now, Illinois State is 12-1 against the spread as an underdog this season. Drake, for all their success, is just 7-9-1 as a favorite. So, look, they're not going to win them all. Illinois State is the better spread team of the two. It's just that Drake is getting all this attention. They're not even exactly dominating favorites in this game, right? The spread right now sitting there at 3, 2.
System playing.
2. Not 3, but 2 now. So the move's on Illinois State. And I want to take Illinois State as well in this one. I feel like I want to make them a premium, but it's just feels kind of hard to try to go against this Drake team right now with what's been going on. But I'm taking Illinois State here tonight in this one. Some steam just came in, you guys, in some NBA action with Cleveland and Toronto. Steam to the under in that one with Cleveland and Toronto. It was 236.5. We're down to 235.5 right now. Steam to the under, Cleveland and Toronto. All right. All right. Let's see if you have any play on this one. I think I just gave my play out. I said Illinois State 12-1 against the spread as an underdog. And not only that, they're still 10-3 straight up at home. Now, Drake is 6-1 straight up on the road, but they beat everybody, remember. The 2 teams that they have that Drake has lost to this season, although it was quite a while ago, was Illinois Chicago, and the other team that they lost to was Murray State in conference play. And they're going to see Illinois Chicago here once again. Now, they did get their revenge at Murray State on the road last Tuesday, 55-45. We had the under in that one. I remember that. All right. Hey, he's the best coach in the country, Spoons. That's what he told us. He might be right. I don't know if you guys were here for my controversial take on what Danny Hurley said to the referees about being the best effing coach in the country, but all right, let's do one more. I think I've got 2 more. One more. OU and UM tonight. Missouri here, an 8.5-point favorite in this one. The total here is 151.5. Missouri's up to 9.5 now. Here, by the way, there we go. Missouri favorite at home, ranked 21st, 17-6 record. Oklahoma 16-7. Both teams come in with consecutive losses here right now. Missouri really this much better than OU? Well, Missouri has covered 8 of their last 10 games overall coming into this one, so they've actually done a nice job against the number. Even though they lost 2 straight, they did cover against Tennessee, but who doesn't anymore? It feels like now they did just get beat by Texas A&M by 3 as a 4-point favorite. They lost the game outright. Oklahoma, consecutive losses here to Tennessee and Auburn. Nothing, to be too upset about. They did cover against Vanderbilt, won and covered. Covered against A&M as a dog, and won and covered against Arkansas.
Steam playing.
The steam's coming in right now. You might be surprised to hear, but I wasn't when I talked about it, even though I went with the Lakers. I was talking about how I was kind of wanting to go under in that game, but you guys maybe were keeping me off of it a little bit. But the steam is coming in on the under. I might take that as a sign here. Lakers and Jazz total was 237 down to 236, a little bit of steam. I don't know if that's very significant, but that's what they're reporting anyway, down to 236 with Lakers and Jazz steam to the under. All right, Oklahoma and Missouri here. You guys got a pick in this one. Let me know. I'm going with Missouri to beat up on Oklahoma. I like them to win and cover here tonight against Oklahoma. Missouri's the hot cover team. Like I said, covers in 8 of their last 10 games coming in. And we'll see if we got any comments from you. Thank you to Twisted for all your plays right there. Take a screenshot there if you want. Maybe I could just take a little picture here. I could do it. I could do the click and drag, but it'd probably knock us off the air. All right. Kelly says, don't forget in that Drake, Ramon, don't forget in that series of dominating series there. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. Yeah, Drake owns Illinois State for sure. All right, Robert likes the under there. And I guess that's it for college basketball. Thanks, you guys. Great handicaps there with you guys. We'll hopefully get it going here. And let's take a look at the Champions League here right now with our action today, because this one goes off in 90 minutes with Atalanta here against Club Brugge in this one. And Atalanta is the favorite here on the road. I do have my pick in this game. I have 3 premium picks all loaded up right now for subscribers over there at winnable.com. Hopefully we're on this one a little bit. My pick here in the game is on Atalanta. Here is my pick on the show. I will take Atalanta over Club Brugge in this one, favored by half a goal. It might be plus $1.10, $1.15 here or so coming in for Atalanta. They are 4-1. 4-1-2 in Champions League play. Let me get the spread records. What am I prefer the spread records. You know that. All right. Atalanta 3-0 against the spread on the road in Champions League play. Club Brugge 3-1 against the spread at home. Both teams pretty good, actually covering spreads in Champions League play. But Atalanta a little bit favored towards the over here. They've gone over in 2 of 3 on the road. Meanwhile, Club Brugge 1-3 to the under as a dog. I'm going to take Atalanta here in this one over Club Brugge. See what we got here. Some comments from you guys in the chat. Let me see what we got here. Perky there. Kelly, thank you for stopping by. Thank you, oldie. Crazy, you crazy guy. All right. Sub likes Atalanta here. Says he might have to bet him now with this line going down a little bit, putting him in the range for sub. And Perky says money line on Atalanta or lay the half a goal. And Subhuman says you gotta like this Atalanta team right now. And Bruges, good defense at home. All right, a couple more here. I'm going to look at all the games, I believe. Next up is Benfica taking on Monaco. Monaco $1.45 or so, and the total 2.5 over 50. I'm going to mix it up here on you right now in this one with Benfica on the road taking on Monaco in this one. So far in Champions League play, you got Benfica 3-0 against the spread on the road. Meanwhile, Monaco 3-1 against the spread at home. Last 4 Champions League games. I'm taking the draw here, believe it or not, with Benfica and Monaco today. Look, I have a premium on this game, but my pick on the side here is on both. I'm taking the draw here with Monaco and Benfica at plus 260. All right. Twisted's got his NBA here. Thank you, Twisted. Let's leave that up there for a second. Billy Eagle Flyer says Monaco game, both teams to score, go over 2.5 and go over 7.5 corners. Thank you, Twisted, for your contributions today. Really appreciate it. Couple more here in the Champions League with Bayern Munich taking on Celtic. Going to be hard for me to get off of Bayern Munich here, the way Celtic has kind of looked in some of these games down the stretch here. Maybe I've watched too much of them lately. Still, Celtic did cover their only role as an underdog they had an easy road. Let's just call it like it is. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich often overvalued, 1-3 against the handicap on the road, 2-4-1 against the handicap overall. But I still got to take him today and lay a goal and a half here. I'm taking Bayern Munich in this one. All right. Thank you, Philly Eagle Flyer there. And I'll take Bayern Munich. One last game here, AC Milan at Feyenoord in this one. And I do have a premium pick in this game over at Winnable, but I have the over in this one with ACM and Feyenoord at 2.5, heavily juiced, probably $1.50 or so. You can put it up to 2 3/4 if you want, but I don't mind in a soccer match laying $1.50 on a total with Feyenoord. They've gone over, it seems like, in all their games right now. 6 of their last 7 Champions League games have gone over the total. AC Milan 2-1 to the over on the road. I'm going over here at 2.5 goals, minus $1.50 or so with Milan and Feyenoord. All right. And Sub, thank you, Sub, for explaining the format there for everyone. Yeah, this is a home and home. So they got to play another game after this. That's part of the strategy. I think that's why I like the draw in Benfica and Monaco as well. All right. And today, and thank you to Sports Money for hanging out with me today. Thanks for a great show last night. I really want to do that show again and again. I wish we get more people over there. Be watching for us to get that show on Kick. And as long as we can make that show go, I want to keep doing that. I had a great time last night there with that event that we did. I know we've been on Kick a few times, but if you guys can put 8 games above me on screen while we talk about the betting, I'm all in. I'll do it every night, boss. All right. Going to do it here for the Morning Steam Show. Look, we've had some commentary, and Mike's going to preview it tonight. I'll kind of leave it to Mike, but I think I'm going to trust that steam and go over tonight in the Four Nations game tonight with Sweden and Canada. Got to lay the juice now on that over. Boy, 6 over 15 at this point. But in discussing it last night with the guys a little bit, my belief was that even though it is a international event, you want to play very hard for your country, you still are in the middle of the NHL season. And I would think that the games may have more of an all-star feel to them than a world championship feel. We'll see tonight. Also, I had talked about it, with Finland. Look, I admit Finland, Mike was saying, he was complimenting their lineup. They're still not with their best lineup out there, but I just think if Finland, is probably better. They're up to 9-1 last I saw at one book, so I think it's worth a shot to take it on Finland, and maybe you get them in the final and match them up with Canada, and you might be in position to make a little bit of money out of it if you want to hedge out of it, or have a pretty good price there for sure at 7, 8, or 9-1. So enjoy the Four Nations Cup as we get a little break here from the hockey season, and we're going to get a little break here in the NBA too as well shortly. So, all right, that's going to do it here, and Billy Eagle Flyer says Milan might be but look at the line now. Let me see, what is Milan now? They have gone from plus 125 to now minus $1.20 or so here. Wow, it's a pretty big move. They've been taking the money here for sure. AC Milan, it feels like this morning. All right, that's going to do it here on the morning steam. We didn't have any consensus today, so my apologies there. You guys would have told me if we did, so appreciate it. Don't forget, Mikey Money today, 6 Eastern and 3 Pacific. He'll preview the primetime action, NBA and NHL, and he'll preview NHL, NBA, and college basketball, and he'll preview the Four Nations Cup. So please join Mikey today. He'll have a great preview of that game. I'll take the over as my play here on the show. That's going to do it for the morning steam. Back tomorrow. We'll have golf tomorrow as well. So, hey, head on over to winnable.com. Check out my picks over there. I've got my best plays today over at winnable.com. Click the QR code in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. That'll take you over to my page there at Winnable. And if you subscribe there for $4 a day, $8 a week, or $19.95 a month, my subscribers that are in the chat, they probably know already. If I have a crummy day like I did 2 days ago, I just throw on a couple more days for the guys. And, hey, I can't get it right all the time. But also any new subscribers or not, anybody who has like a recurring subscription, when I see those recurring subscriptions come in, if someone's on the weekly, I just extend it for 10 days. If they're on the monthly, I throw 5 days or more on there too. So I have control over all that. And if you guys are generous to me in subscribing to this extra content, I'm going to give it back as best I can, hopefully with some winners, but also extend all those packages. You guys are taking great care of me here on the Sports Money Network. And if you want me to keep coming back, this is how you support me here on the channel, getting my extra content there over at winnable.com. All right. Thank you for listening to that, and thank you for joining me here on the show. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific. For the Sports Money Network, I'm Ramon Scott. So long. Have a great betting Wednesday.
Steam, it's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money back with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money.